Welcome everyone to the next part of the plant kingdom, and today we are going to discuss about the gymnosperms. That means the spermatophytes, the seed bearing plants. Now the gymnosperms are also called as the naked seeded plants. Okay, that means their seeds are not covered and they cannot get developed into fruit, so that's why they are called the naked seeded plant. Now they occur in basically actually hilly areas, okay, colder parts of northern hemisphere, or sometimes they occur in tropical and subtropical areas also. So, and even some of them are used as ornamental plants like thuja. Okay, so they occur in different type of habitats. The plant body is basically a sporophyte. Sporophyte, that means the spore bearing structures are appeared, okay, and it is divided into root, stem and leaves. The trees are perennial. Plants are actually trees or shrubs. Basically actually what happens, gymnosperms are large trees, okay, but sometimes some exceptional case are there, that means shrubs are also present. For example, netam, it is a shrub like plant, okay. Now perennial word, I think you are familiar with it. Perennial means that which takes more than 1-2 years for its completion of life cycle, isn't it? That means the plant which completes its life cycle in 1 year annual, in 2 year biennial, and more than two, then it is called perennial plant. So these gymnosperms are actually perennial plants. Then their root system is well developed and it is a taproot system. Okay, now you know what is taproot and fibrous root. So this is a taproot system plant having taproot. So it is extensively developed, and so they which helps in actually proper anchorage of the plant. Then the stem is erect, aerial and woody. So aerial means actually it is large enough, okay. Then woody also, they are properly developed. Then the leaves are of two types, foliage leaf and scale leaves. Foliage means the green colored leaves which are present, and scale leaves are brown colored leaves actually, okay. So both these types of leaves are present in the cycas plant, in gymnosperms. Now in some of the plants actually what happened, they are forming compound pinnate leaves, and in some actually they form fan like structure, the leaves are, okay. So different types of shapes and size we will find in case of leaves also. Then they show some xerophytic adaptations. That means we are telling that these particular plants are growing in hilly areas, so they basically grow in areas where water scarcity is there, okay. So for that particular reason they develop some xerophytic adaptations. For example, they will have a thick cuticle. Due to this thick cuticle, what happens, the water loss is prevented, stomata are sunken, transfusion tissues are present, okay, hypodermis is very thick. So all these lead to the xerophytic adaptations, and for which they can retain the water in their body, and it loss due to transpiration is prevented. Then vascular strands are present, xylem and phloem. In xylem actually tracheids are there, vessels are absent, and in case of phloem the sieve tubes are there, okay, which will help in conduction of water and food particles. Then these particular plants actually show secondary growth. That means cambium activity is there, for which secondary growth is observed in these plants. Then the sporophylls, that is the spore bearing structures, they are actually arranged into cones, okay. The cones may be either male cone or female cone, got it. Then ovules are naked, pollen grains are there. So now when we are talking actually about cones, then okay, now see the cone of the gymnosperms, okay. Now this is actually the basic structure of the cone, whether it is a male or a female cone. Now actually we are drawing here a male cone, that's why the word micro is used here. So when it is a male cone, that means the cone, first of all, it consists of a central axis, got it. This is the central axis. This central axis consists of sporophylls which are spirally arranged around the axis, and these particular sporophylls are known as the microsporophylls. Then these microsporophylls, they bear the sporangia which will develop the spores. That particular sporangia are called the microsporangia, and within the microsporangia actually the microspores develop, got it. Now if it is actually a female structure, then it will be megasporophyll, megasporangia and megaspore. Okay, so this is the structure of the cone. Now when we are talking about the ovule structure is of this particular shape. Okay, it will consist of the integuments. These are the integuments. This is the nucellus in which the embryo sac is developed. Actually it is not properly called embryo sac, but this is the fertile part. Here the archegonium will develop. Okay, here actually not like that of higher plants, but like that of the pteridophytes and bryophytes, here archegonia are formed, within which the eggs are developed. Now this is actually the pollen tube, okay, or the fertilization tube, which will help the spore, the microspore or the pollen grain to come and enter and reach the egg of the archegonium. Okay, the structure of the pollen is of this particular type. Basically this is actually a the pollen of Pinus, which bears 2 wings. Okay, and the pollens of gymnosperms are very small and are of light weight, for which they are wind pollinated. They are anemophilous, that means they are pollinated with the help of wind. So when they are developed in these particular microspores, then what happens, these pollens with the help of the wind, they will come and fall on this beak of the ovule. Okay, so this is the micropylar beak, so they will come and fall here. Gradually they will develop the pollen tube. This pollen tube penetrates through this gap and will reach the archegonium portion. That means it will reach the interior part. Got it? Now see, the gymnosperm, actually what happened, they possess some important characteristics. Like for example, until and unless the female is developed, the male, though it comes and it get ready for fertilization, but still what happened, it is waiting there. It will wait there until and unless the female part is mature. Okay, so that is an important character of the gymnosperm. In case of angiosperms or other, what happened, when the male gamete comes, it will immediately fertilize the female one. But here what happens, the male will wait till the female gets mature or it is ripened, and once it is matured, then they will start fertilization. And this process, actually the male sometimes even wait for several months also. Okay, so when fertilization takes place, so here the zygote will develop, embryo will start developing, seeds are formed, but these seeds does not develop the fruit. The ovule is actually unitegmic, that means only single integument is present here, tegmen. Okay, the ovule. Then here actually this fertilization process, after that what happens, the development of the embryo starts, which will later develop into the new plant. Okay, now here the endosperm is also formed. Endosperm means the food laden tissue which nourishes the developing embryo. So that particular endosperm in case of gymnosperm is haploid. Okay, so that is an important point. Another important point, that in gymnosperm the endosperm tissue is haploid. Got it? So they will just develop, and thus the process completes, the life cycle completes in case of gymnosperms. Okay, now after this what happened, we have to study about the classification of gymnosperm. Okay, so let's now study about the different types of plants that are found in gymnosperms. Okay, so first of all we come across the plant cycas. So cycas, actually it is also known as the pandas of the plant kingdom or the reptiles of the plant kingdom. Okay, that means these plants are the initiatives, or these are the connecting link between the pteridophytes and the gymnosperms. They develop the leaves, okay, which shows sarcinate tixies, and that particular sarcinate tixies is actually similar to that of the ferns. Now you have already, all of you have seen the ferns, isn't it? So when the initial leaf of the fern develops, then what happens? It gets curled out, isn't it? So that curling is also observed in the case of leaves of cycas. So that is considered to be a connecting link between the gymnosperms and the pteridophytes, and these actually fall under the class Cycadopsida. Okay, Cycadopsida. So here cycads are there, and the example is cycas. Next, we come across to the group. Now, cycads are also called the living fossils. Okay, that means these were present in the earlier time also, and they are also present now also. Now, one more important thing of cycads is that they develop the coralloid roots. Coralloid roots means their roots get incorporated with blue-green algae, and they develop a thick zone of algae which is helpful for getting fertilization. Okay, that so not fertilization, actually fertilizer, act as a fertilizer and provides, helps in nitrogen fixation. Okay, so that means it is very much important. Okay, so here coralloid root we will get, Sarcines, Tixies we will get, then cycas, it possesses the largest egg. That means the egg of the cycas is the largest among the plant kingdom. Okay, so these are the important features which we will observe in case of cycas plant. Then next we come to the pinus plant. The pinus, that means it will show the branching is there. It is just similar to that of a tree. Okay, it is under the class Pinaceae, coniferals, sorry. Okay, the family is Pinaceae. So these coniferals are basically found in colder regions. Xerophytic adaptations will be observed in all cases. Okay, so here branches are there, long branches and short branches are present. Got it? So then next we come to Zingo. Zingo is called as the living fossils. Why it is called living fossil? Because actually it is considered that Zingo was present in the earlier age also, and now also it is present. But actually what happened, Zingo is restricted to only few areas. It was first found in China. Okay, it is a native of China, and now in only few botanical gardens of India this particular species is present. In Lucknow Botanical Garden actually Zingo species is present. Okay, but it is not available everywhere, only in few restricted areas. And here the leaves of the Zingo plant are fan shaped like the Japanese fan. Okay, the leaves are very beautiful. So these are actually the different types. Then again we come to Netum. Netum is considered as a connecting link between the angiosperms and gymnosperm. This is the advanced type of gymnosperm which possesses angiospermic characters. There are many characters which resemble the Netum with that of the angiosperm. That's why after Netum actually it is considered that the gymnosperm got evolved into the angiosperms. Okay, so these important points, small important points are very necessary. You have to remember them, each and every example. Now basically we will study about these 4 only examples, and each example has some important features. So you will have to go through them, you have to study the books. First of all you have to study what is gymnosperm, what are the characters of gymnosperm, then you have to compare these examples and what are the extra important features, you have to mark them properly. Okay, so these are all the important things for today's class. So go through them properly, and if you have any problem then let me know.